tuning in to the online broadcast network, AfterBuzz TV. Over 20 million weekly downloads in over 150 countries, and your #1 source for after-show entertainment. AfterBuzz TV, the destination for TV superfans, producing after-shows for over 300 of your favorite TV shows, interviewing celebrities and showrunners, and bringing you behind-the-scenes exclusives. All thanks to E! Entertainment's Maria Menounos, producer Kevin Undergaro, and internet leader Akamai. Now, let the buzz begin!
Hey there, Under the Dome fans. Everyone's trying to get out of the dome, but they didn't. And they saw heaven, maybe? We'll find out right now here on the Under the Dome After Show.
Is the next home?
I don't know, but welcome to the Under the Dome After Show here on AfterBuzz TV. I am Matt Lieberman, being the master of ceremonies for this, we'll call it a recap of what some would call an episode, of what some would call a season, of what some would call a television show. Joining me as always, Jacque Borowski is here.
Hi.
Amanda Bennett is here.
Yes!
Carrie Long, unfortunately, missing our finale, and we miss her.
We
All
do.
the love in the
We do.
world.
We love you, Carrie.
Mwah, mwah.
So hilarious.
Yes.
And beautiful.
She's lovely, and I'm so sad that she's not here to talk about this thing with us.
This behemoth of an episode.
Yeah. So I'm gonna speak really quickly on how I feel about cliffhanger endings, what I think a cliffhanger does, and what it is, right? Personally,
what is it?
So I'm a big fan of cliffhanger endings when they're earned.
Yes.
When we have, in answering a question, a big underlying question, the answer is what provides us with hundreds of more questions and makes us crazy, makes us want to theorize all summer long or all year long when the show is off the air. Or for example, let me take for an example the Sleepy Hollow finale last fall. Okay, Sleepy Hollow finale, we end with our heroes separated, with a big reveal that someone we trusted this whole time is actually working for the bad guy, and there's nothing that anyone could do about it. Oh my God, so hopeless, everyone's in peril.
And one of our characters might be dead.
All of that stuff, and we're just like, oh my God, what's happening? This show.
By the way, we recap Sleepy Hollow after this if you want to catch Matt.
If you want to catch us. But this show, in that final moment with Melanie, which we'll talk about at length, there wasn't enough there to call it a cliffhanger. Because after walking through the styrofoam tunnels of doom for the majority of this episode...
That they remodeled, it was the same set as before.
Same tunnels. We now have Melanie in her dress, in her purple smock, in just a white room. So basically they're saying we didn't have the budget to afford to show you where we're going, which means
that they might even not know where they're going.
Exactly. It's just saying we intend to take them somewhere else, or maybe not. And home could just be Chester's Mill, but now the Dome has decided to give them a reprieve because they were good little boys and girls and went down into a hole for no reason. That's what's pissing me off, because they didn't answer.
They followed the butterflies.
They didn't give us anything. No. That is not a cliffhanger. That is just
That's a kick in the nuts. That's what that is.
It really is. It's the same way, you know...
It wasn't a big enough payoff for watching all summer.
Right.
Okay.
It's the same way that the Lost Season 1 finale, when they open up the hatch, everyone was so pissed because they wanted to see what was inside, and they had no idea. And justifiably, everyone was upset because opening it is not the cliffhanger.
No.
Yeah.
That's part of it. Having just a glimpse of what we see on the other side, that's the cliffhanger, because then we can imagine all the possibilities. You're not giving us any possibilities to imagine. Are we going to heaven? Are we going to a spaceship? Are we going to Zenith? Are we going to a quasi Chester's Mill under the Dome? We don't know, because you didn't care enough to write it.
It was just white room, and she looked like she had come out of the rain
the lake, or was reborn.
One of our fans said they thought that they were all going to end up in Zenith, but like time travel Zenith, like maybe Zenith back in the 80s
Or Zenith back in 1864.
Yeah,
Or
I
Zenith
think
in the future.
I'm all for that. I'm all for Back to the Future Zenith.
Yes.
I don't know. I'm just like,
That would be really cool.
It would be, but I'm just like, I'm thinking about all the options, and it's probably Zenith or Chester's Mill, because there's no way, based on the shoddy effects work and limited budget of this season, there's no way they'll have the money to go super sci-fi or period with it. There's no way, because the only people who they got rid of were people that they introduced this year. And
Well, Andrea was
Except for
around last
one.
year.
okay, Andrea, but that's a guest star. That's not an
I
expensive
have problems
contract.
with that death.
Okay, tell us about
I just don't feel like it made any sense. It just made us more nervous for Julia.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, him killing Andrea just why, Big Jim? It didn't make any sense
to
for him.
show how far gone he is, to show that he doesn't care. This is the one woman who supported him through everything, except for that like one period of 2 episodes where she didn't. But you know, she was always on his side.
Julia.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he never forgot that. Well, let's back all the way up.
We're getting a little bit ahead of ourselves.
Maybe a little bit ahead of ourselves.
Just
And
a little.
I just want to say, though, before we get off this topic, that in light of what you just said about it not being a cliffhanger, and I know I've said all season that Nori kind of says the things that I feel.
Yeah.
And when she goes, "We didn't come all this way just for a dead end," I was like, "No, Nori, we did not.
we didn't."
And that's what I feel like just happened.
Yeah, and honestly, an episode called Go Now, okay, it just makes me want to go now. It's basically, it is a warning to the audience. Listen, if you stick around at this point, this is your own fault. Okay?
Turning off the TV is your only hope.
Yeah. So at the top of this episode, Melanie has just fallen down a hole mysteriously.
A whirling dervish.
Swirly,
twirly
hole.
gumdrops.
And basically, Junior's all ready to just jump right in there. No restraints or nothing, because that's what you do.
Because nobody told him what happened to Phil, or he didn't remember
He
what
just
happened
didn't
to
care.
Phil.
He's so overcome with love for this girl that he met 12 days ago on the
Coming
same
out
day.
of the lake.
Yeah, on the same day that the love of his life was killed.
Doesn't seem right.
No, doesn't seem right at
Junior.
all.
But I'm proud of Junior, and we'll get to that later.
Okay, so they're like, no, we can't just jump in there, okay? And then at the same time, Big Jim comes in carrying Pauline. He's like, Pauline's, oh my God, what's wrong with her? Pauline's been stabbed by Lyle. Don't worry, he's dead now. No one says a
No
word.
one cares.
No one gives a
They're
flying.
like, oh, Lyle's dead. Okay, whatever.
Yeah.
Why do I feel like Big
did.
Jim has killed most of the people in the town?
He has killed
he's
so
like
many people.
A serial killer.
He really is, which makes his whole, like, I'm gonna kill everybody threat in this episode have way less weight, because he'll just kill people anyway. Now he's killing them willy-nilly, but
Yeah.
he almost was before.
And I thought that whole choice was so cliche, because it's like you have his wife die and then you have him just go on a killing rampage. It's like, really, are we really going to make this that cliche and not complex at all?
But he already has been on killing rampages before, so
Yeah.
it's like, okay, Big Jim.
I feel like his
Just
character
stay
has
on the
evolved.
evil
Yes.
side.
Pardon me, just one moment. Hey, Sean, could you tell them next door to turn it down, because we're trying to have a conversation. Thank you.
Yeah, I hear some bass.
Yeah, every once in a while, when you're doing so many shows a week, just people step on each other's toes. It's no problem. But let's get back into this conversation.
Okay.
So, yeah, so Pauline's been stabbed, not dead. We thought she was totally dead last week.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
She was only mostly dead.
Mostly.
Mostly.
Bleeding
everywhere,
profusely.
like bright red sticky blood. The stickiest and reddest of the bloods I think we have ever seen.
The corn syrupiest.
Yes, of all the blood I've ever seen on television, this was the brightest and the reddest. And, you know, she's like, oh, you know, Julia, I saw you in a vision. You know, the dome chose you. Also, the dome chose a man. He doesn't know that he's the chosen. And then Jim's like, well, it's obviously me, because I didn't know that I was the chosen, except for, you know, all season when I was like, I am the chosen. Maybe I just didn't know that it knew that I am the chosen that it knows about.
I like your Big Jim voice.
Yes.
Thank you. So,
I like how the dome is like continuously choosing people, and people are interpreting it as choosing people. I'm like, why are there so many Moseses? Too many Moseses in the kitchen.
Too many Moseses, not enough Jesuses?
Yeah.
Well, I noticed in this episode, I thought that before a couple of episodes back that, there was a real painting that Pauline painted that she knew was the real Vision, and then she painted the other one for Big Jim's benefit to get them to take Melanie to the sinkhole place.
Now what are we going to do now that we don't have Pauline's terrible paintings to look at?
Speaking of, can I just say, first of all, when did she have time to paint these extra paintings? Because I seem to recall a fallow period, where she had no ability to paint.
I thought she painted them all when she was in that room when Jim told her to paint things.
Oh, after he was like, "Hey, baby, we're in love.
I feel
I'll
like
show
she
you how to
painted
paint."
them in that time.
Yeah, well,
That's probably when she painted I like to call the vomit blood picture.
very shocking painting.
Thinking the same thing.
Yeah.
From a 3-year-old. But the most shocking thing about it is, for whatever reason, she has no pants on and her legs are splayed open. So not only is she vomiting blood, but goodness knows what she's doing with the hand that is not in frame. I feel like whoever the artist was who painted all of the paintings, when they told him or her, we're not going to need you anymore, was sort of like, oh, really? Well, here's the last one.
Forget it, then.
And they're just like, well, can we get another one? They're like, no. Yeah. Oh, yeah. So they're like,
it's just stick figure central in the last
stick
painting.
figure, just furiously off screen working it.
Super yellow hair.
Not happy about that. So they're like, oh man, we should save Pauline. Let's get the Prius. Thankfully, the Prius is right here.
Oh, the Prius.
Oh, thank God we have so much.
You know what's interesting is I
space.
watched this. I watched this online. And all the advertisements in between where the commercials are all for the Prius.
The electric Prius.
Oh.
The plug-in Prius.
And I drive a Prius. I just think it's like a little bit of extensive plugging.
It's how they afford the show. This show is run on 3 things: Amazon, Microsoft Surface, and plug-in Priuses.
And don't forget Julia's hair.
Julia's hair, of course. I'm sorry. Julia's hair is effectively the dome egg of this show. If that hair gets shorn, if those locks are shorn from her shoulders, then the entire thing will just collapse. It's the truth. So they take her back to the high school because that's the only set that we have. And Sam sets about saving his sister. He seems like mildly concerned, but not really, that his sister is dying.
We're doing everything that we can. Really? MacGyver? Can you come up with something else?
It's his sister. Why isn't he more concerned?
Yes, please.
Yes, please. So,
sew it up.
Because Sam
somehow.
has 2 emotions. He has 2 emotions: bored and rage hate.
to me, it's just bored and guilty.
And camel.
Yeah, and all of them are
Camel is an emotion.
Yeah, camel is definitely an emotion. So they send Big Jim to go get saline for a reason that I don't think was specified. Yeah, I mean, maybe is it gonna thin the blood? For what purpose do they need saline?
Saline, is that salt based?
Yeah, it's saline solution. Well, it's so that they can send.
It's like what you wash your contacts with.
And it's also so that you can inject drugs intravenously. But I didn't see an IV on hand at the high school, so I don't quite know. I felt like they were mostly just getting him out of the room because he was such a nuisance. And as soon as he was out of the room, Pauline's just like, Becky, kill me, Becky. I don't want to be here.
The dome wants for me.
The dome wants me, Dad. Just end it. Just stick it right in me. Come on. I seen my own death. I painted it. Oh, wait, Junior's here. Junior, I love you, sweetheart. I'll always love you. You're so talented and handsome.
Brushes.
Why don't you get me my things so that I can paint you a nice picture? Whoa, kill me! And Rebecca kills her because that's the right thing to do. Because the dome wants it to happen, I guess.
Oh, but Rebecca has always been questioning what the dome wants and what science
So
says.
this should actually be a big moment for her,
Yes.
where she finally gives over to the will of the dome against her better judgment.
Yeah.
And instead, we don't even see her do it. She doesn't even have time to react to it because it's all about Big Jim in this episode.
Right.
Yeah, and now she's dead, and she'll never get to have that epiphany. Thanks a lot.
Well, she got like sledgehammered to the head.
That I couldn't look. Like
Violent.
I instantly shielded my eyes.
It's the most
from that.
violent death I think I've ever
Although
seen on a CBS show.
Immediately when I watched it, I was like, she's been blinded with science. And I also realized that literally science died on this show, and the dome
and
benevolent-
religion is
won.
alive. Yeah.
Religion won and the dome died.
Interesting.
Or and science died. That's exactly
Is
what
there
it
really
Science
something
cannot-
to dig into there in terms of the...
Well, I mean, if you think of it this way, fans, when they go to the end, they go to like a heaven-like place.
Mm-hmm.
Big Jim has his like major like, what's going on? And he goes, just like Julie in the last episode, he goes to the dome and asks it for something, and it doesn't give it to him. And it's kind of like having that otherworldly power you feel like not listened to you. So then, of course, he goes on a murdering spree.
Well, yeah, he turns against his god.
Yeah.
And he instead decides to go crazy and kill people, to
Yeah,
take them
and
away from him.
Set the house ablaze.
Yeah.
With Pauline inside.
You know, though, so, I mean, we're kind of jumping around here.
But
But-
this episode jumped around.
That's true. What were you going to say, Jackie?
When did they get Pauline back to the house? Is what I want to know.
He
it was
took her
very
back to-
Norman Bates for me.
He took her back to the house after he had killed Rebecca and knocked out Sam. Yeah. As soon as I saw Rebecca was still holding the needle or the vial or whatever it was,
I was like, dead woman walking.
Dead woman. Just put it down quietly. Put it in your pocket quietly. Do anything other than like very loudly drop your arm. You know, it was like specifically sound designed so that when he looked over at her, it was obvious that he heard something, you know, even though that was unnecessary, I guess.
See, if she put that down, now they would have just believed that Pauline died of natural causes, mostly because when you look at her back, she suffers from the same kind of
Stab wound.
Well,
a big old stab wound.
no, it's not even
Sucking blood, letting wound.
that too, but the same problem that Julia has, where whoever bandaged her up bandaged them on top of the clothing. I don't know any EMT that does that.
It's Sam. Sam is, but that's the thing. Sam is like,
but Barbie did the other one. It's like Chester's Mill EMT service is bad.
they're terrible.
They're terrible.
Terrible doctors.
They don't remove your clothing. And granted, this is not supposed to be, oh my gosh, it's taboo. It's like, no, they're bleeding. You have to take off their clothes and appropriately tend to the wound.
So here's the thing, right? Big Jim realizes that Rebecca wronged him, and we see him growl, and the pit bull in him comes out, and Sam's like, whoa, pal, hey, walk it off, nice, Sam, I did something, and then Jim just cold cocks him, grabs that hammer, and we're just like, oh no, this is not right. And then he kills her.
Why did she have to go like that?
I know. Just when she had gotten some character development the episode before.
I
feel
think it would have made more sense for there to be somehow another morphine, and he just did the same thing to her.
I also don't see any point in introducing a character. So, like, introducing a character and killing them in the same season if it is not to serve a larger story purpose. Like,
it was the science purpose.
But my point is, her death didn't mean anything. If she had been the villain all season and she died, I get it. If she had done something wrong and she paid for it, I get it. If she was about to do something great and we lost her because they wanted us to be frustrating, I get it. But if you're going to introduce a character, you can't kill them the same season unless it serves a larger story purpose. She was just the first stop on a murder rampage. Like, it should have been someone from season 1 carried into season 2, not her. Or, I mean, kill Sam, he's boring, but still.
I mean, I disagree with you in the way that this whole season was about science versus religion. So even though for me, for this kind of show, that was kind of weak sauce, still, that was the theme. And I feel like that was, since she was the representation of science, she had to die.
Okay.
Yeah, and I instantly thought to myself, oh, science is dead.
Mm-hmm. But I agree with Amanda in saying that why did we kill Andrea?
What was the point?
What was the point?
That
like
he didn't even have like a story purpose to be dying at this point.
It was to show.
He didn't even have a good reason to kill her.
No.
But that was the point. When he says to the dome, I thought this scene was great and like was very, very chilling when he says, not when he says dome, not that part.
3
but
seconds.
What comes next? Where he's like, "You're gonna give me my wife back now, because our family together. That's what you were supposed to do, and you give other people things. I've given you everything." In his own mind, I'm gonna give you 3 seconds, and if you don't bring her back, I will kill everyone. And as he lists off all the people that we love, I actually was like, no, you can't. And I was like, oh my God, I actually still have a functioning heart in my body after watching this show all season. I still care about these people. And I was like, oh my God, he's really gonna go. He's gonna do it. He's gonna kill everybody. Jim unleashed. Let's do it.
No.
I feel like
That's why the Andrea death makes sense to me, because it's saying I will go to any lengths without actually killing off anyone important.
that's true.
Yeah.
You know, if you're a good painter and you're
not like Pauline.
Not like Pauline. Like if you're an actually good painter and you're given like a crappy set of paints, like house paint or something like that, and then you're given some real nice professional quality paint, there's only so much you can do being a good painter with the crappy paint to make it look good, but man, does Dean Norris try.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
I looked at his acting this episode, I was like, Dean Norris is acting the crap out of this episode.
I just want to say also, when he was looking at his wife, and he was so sad.
He was so upset.
I really felt for him. I mean, that's what the writers were doing with this episode. They were trying to get you to really feel for Big Jim and connect with him, and then he just completely went off the deep end. So it was kind of a strange twist of emotions watching him. But yeah, I mean, when he was looking at Pauline, I thought the same thing, like, ooh, Emmy nomination.
See, I feel bad for him, though, because it's like he gets this jerky dialogue where he has to be like, Dome, please give me my wife back. But and then it's like he
That's
does
a great
what he.
Big Jim impersonation, by the way.
But I like your analogy.
It was more like Shaggy from Scooby Doo.
Yeah.
Dome.
Yeah. That's more like Scooby.
That's Scooby. That's what I meant.
Yeah.
All right, before we move on, I just want to really quickly mention iTunes and give out our last set of shout-outs for the season. Folks,
shout-outs.
Yeah, thank you so much for hanging out with us all season long. I know that we don't all agree on this show, and I appreciate those of you who have stuck it out and for, either way, for good or ill, have been enjoying our after show. Even the ones, and especially the ones, who no longer even watch Under the Dome, but tune into our recaps specifically because they feel what we feel. If you like this show or any of the shows here on AfterBuzz TV, the best way to support them is to go to iTunes and rate and review the shows you listen to or watch on YouTube. It just takes a second. It doesn't cost a dime, and it's how we get our sponsors. It's how we get guests on our shows. It's how our shows get seen by more and more people, because the higher the ratings, the more ratings we have, the easier it is for people to find them. So go to iTunes, rate and review the shows, and you get a sweet shout out right here on the show.
Can't wait to hear it.
Yeah, so we have a review from Love Justified, Domehead, 5 stars. Lima beans? Really? This episode was comical. From Rebecca becoming MacGyver on steroids, Julia talking to the glass wall of the dome, and Nori's question to Joe, "What is that, Joe?" "A gun!" Then Nori stripping Joe verbally of any chance of manhood that existed, with him not minding at all. Then Big Jesus Dome Jim finally kissing his long-lost, presumed dead wife at the most misplaced moment. Odd. Entertaining, crazy show. Love the great podcast. You guys rock. Thank you. No, thank you, Love Justified. What? How great of a review is that?
That was awesome.
Merci.
Great podcast, 5 stars from Anna Alexander Melissa. Thanks for a great season. I love all of your commentary on the show and look forward to listening every week. You guys give me an hour of comic relief at work every Wednesday. I'm truly going to miss Matt's Lyle Chumley impersonations. It's in the cards. It's in the cards. It's in the cards.
Melanie.
Looking forward to Matt and Jackie recapping Sleepy Hollow again this year. Woo! Thanks, Melissa. Thank you, Melissa. So folks, you know, even though the season is ending, winding down, head over to iTunes, rate and review the show. It'll help us out if we get a third season.
On Amazon, maybe.
I really hope there's a third season because I want to know what's going on.
I want there to be a third season only if there's going to be either gnomes or some sort of Back to the Future stuff going on.
Or aliens.
It would take...
Yes, or aliens.
It would take one hell of a promo for me to get excited about this show. For me to even have an inkling of... Like I tune in because of this show right here that we're doing.
Yay.
And I don't want to necessarily abandon that, but like... Whew, man, I get the feeling that if I stick around, it's like an abusive relationship. If I stay in it, it is only my fault.
Oh, no.
If I get hurt again. Okay, so...
I have a theory about Pauline before we jump ahead.
Let's.
Do you have a theory about how weird her death was, where she was like, love you all, bye?
Well, no, but wow, I like that. I was going to say, what if Pauline isn't entirely human? What if her son is, what if she's like part of whatever Melanie is?
What if she's an angel and Junior is half an angel?
But here's
I'm laughing as I'm saying
the issue with that would mean that Sam is half alien and Sam is boring as crap. So to waste alien DNA on him would just be horrible.
Maybe Sam's hiding it all along and he really has this other personality.
That'd be cool.
Yeah.
or
let me whip out my secretly awesome personality that I've been hiding for 12, 13 episodes.
Or they're going to huge reveal next season that their mother actually had an affair, or Pauline was like Jesus was a virgin birth. It was like a miraculous conception.
With Junior?
No, that
Pauline was the miraculous baby.
That she was an immaculate conception,
Yeah.
and that they have no idea who the father was, and it was alien DNA.
Ooh, okay, this is getting good.
And here's the thing. Even though I don't know if they necessarily made it all the way into the dome, she had Junior go get her art supplies, and I felt in that moment she's doing this specifically so that Junior has art supplies on hand next season to make his own paintings.
Yes, even though Junior's kind of, we have different sections of trapped in the tunnel. We have the Junior section where he's trapped right in the beginning, like where you enter the tunnel. Then we have Julia, who for whatever reason I couldn't tell, decided that she couldn't move on. And is trapped.
It's a massive gap. She can't jump that. She's injured, if you didn't recall.
Fighting Big Jim.
Yeah. And from, that pole that was through her leg 2 days ago.
She might have been able to jump it if she wasn't walking around town in high heels, making it worse.
The entire series. She's had the high heels on.
Well, I don't mind, but it's just like, if I had a stab wound from my leg, the next thing I did wouldn't be, I should just keep my high heels on and walk around all day. I'd be like, putting on my sneakers.
It's because
now.
Without those heels, she is nowhere near as tall as Barbie, and she's the female lead of this show. She needs to be strong. She needs to be feminine. She needs to be tall.
I would like to point out that Sarah Michelle Gellar was 5'4", and David Boreanaz was 6'1", and still they didn't make her wear heels most of the time.
Because she was supposed to be a teenager. Yeah. Oh yeah. Okay. So Pauline dies. Jim goes on a rampage. I want to talk about I read in a review, and I didn't make this connection, but maybe it's the truth. So when they decide to help Pauline, that's when the dome goes crazy and starts contracting on itself and having crazy weather, including a lightning storm over at Tom's farm. Tom, my pigs. Whatever his last name is,
he's just Farmer
who's just
Tom.
having the worst year ever. or the worst even week ever.
Possibly the fakest death I've ever seen.
But let's talk about the
That
tragedy.
death was awesome.
Let's talk about the tragedy of his and his son Aiden's life, okay? Aiden, who gets name dropped like 1,000 times.
Did we not know about Aiden before? Because I don't remember him ever being mentioned.
That's why we heard his name so many times. To remember, oh yeah, that's Tom's kid. Who's Tom? I don't remember. But Tom, he lost all of his pigs, then he loses his wife, then he gets killed by crazy lightning.
And a tractor.
And now his son is being raised by these miscreants, Julia and Barbie. Julia and Barbie now have a kid to raise. Great. Like they didn't have enough stress on their 4-week relationship. Terrible. Not even 4-week, 3.5-week relationship.
But this death was so fascinating because it's such an under the dome death. It's like the death I wanted to see when Ben was describing how the dome like hit the guy with the guy who owns the farm or whatever and killed him. I was like, that's kind of, we want to see that, so it's explained to us exactly what's happening. And now that I know that that's happening, it's hilarious.
Mm-hmm. It is hilarious.
And where is Ben again? He's not
there. Where is Ben? Why
Nowhere.
Is he not saved?
Why is this not consistent?
I think the true cliffhanger is what happened to Ben.
Where's Ben?
And Carolyn's back to do nothing.
I am really happy though that all of a sudden Nori realized that she needed help from her mom because all these terrible things were happening, and I'm like, yes.
I love that they explained why she was going away to this camp retreat center.
A rare moment of character development.
And she said, well, people were making fun of my hair, and I was like, I feel for you, Nori.
Yeah.
With the ginger spirit.
Speaking of Nori, she, Joe, and Hunter have a tablet again for no reason.
Maybe it made a hole in the dome when the lightning struck.
Nope. No hole, but the tablet is working perfectly. It's got a whole array of features. It's got Minesweeper. It's got everything.
No wireless signal for
just
whatever
no signal.
reason.
Someone's blocking it. It's not that we don't have a signal. It's that they don't have a signal. Okay? No, seriously. This tablet is amazing. Okay. So they go down the hole, and a butterfly flies into one of the forks, and they're like,
monarch butterfly.
Monarch butterfly.
Yes.
Let's go that way. Also, orange glow. Perfect.
And purple glow lights. Black lights.
Yeah, black lights to light up the styrofoam tunnels. So Barbie and Julia are evacuating everyone in the rain for some reason.
Can I just say, I think that the rain was like the dome's water broke. I think the whole time it's been like a pregnancy, and the lightning is like these sharp pains of like childbirth, and the rain is the water breaking. And then even Barbie in the episode said the contractions are getting closer together.
Yeah.
You think that's why the dome is moving in? Because it's actually birthing everyone out?
Yes. The birth canal is the
actually
hole in
makes
the
a lot of
ground.
sense. Yeah. That's good. That's a good theory.
Yeah, that is a good
Go,
theory.
Amanda.
Yeah. Ooh, yes.
Yeah. So they get everyone over there. And
the dome is a woman.
Yeah, and this guy we've never seen before who has a family is like, wait a minute. Now that I'm all the way here, why should I trust you? And Barbie essentially lies, and he's like, because I've done it before. No, you went down a different hole, buddy.
Different cave. Different time.
Not the same at all. He's never even seen the inside. But everyone gets down there. But wait a second. Where's Julia, Hunter? I don't know. Find her now. Julia, meanwhile, went to Andrea's because she got told over the walkie, oh, Julia, I need help. Oh, my good. Oh, God. Nothing else. And we just know something.
Come help me.
Yeah. So the door is...
My clutter is eating me alive.
Yeah, the door is ajar. She picks up a bat and she puts a knife in her pocket. Jim's there. They have a little tete-a-tete. He shoots Andrea and
kills her.
And then Julia gets a call on the walkie from Sam, and she doesn't give him any clues.
And Jim says, less is more.
Yeah, less is more. And she's like, I almost wanted her when he was like, what are you doing? How are you? Peachy. So then, yeah, Julia stabs Jim in the foot.
Yes.
And
wait, though, can we also say that why is it every classic villain has this moment of I'm going to kill someone completely inconsequential, and then when I have to kill the person I came here to kill, I'm going to wait as long as humanly possible.
He could have just shot her right after he shot Andrea, but no.
Yeah.
No, she hits his gun or his knife with a frying pan.
Was Jim the one who shot her last season?
No.
No.
Who shot Julia?
No, it was Maxine who shot her last season.
Oh, that's right. That's right.
Oh yeah.
So I also like how I said that thank God Andrea's a hoarder, because Julia managed to just like hide behind clutter to get away from Big Jim.
And then finally he was just like, oh, I like you so much better with your mouth broken, which actually, as delivered, very chilling line. I was like, oh man, did Stephen King do a polish on this crap script?
Yeah, and Big Jim was saying, well, she got to go quickly because I liked her.
Yeah.
And he was going to like torture Julia.
But instead she stabs him in the foot and she runs away.
Yes.
Running into Junior and Sam in the woods. And Junior's like, my dad, I'll handle this. Runs off with his gun. And is this why you were proud of him?
Yes. Finally, he deals with Big Jim.
He shoots him in the shoulder and then doesn't wait to see if he's dead.
Well, he doesn't. I feel like either Junior's a crap shot or he doesn't shoot to kill because it's his dad.
Maybe a little both. Maybe a little both. I don't know. What did you think, Amanda?
You're talking like Farmer Tom.
As far as
Maybe a little both my pigs.
as far as character development goes, I have to say I'm also proud of Junior for his character development. He started off in season 1 as the creepiest, weirdest character on the show, and then we slowly fell in love with him.
I know, but
He's had so many redemptions.
can I just say
Yes.
though, am I wrong for feeling that he was far more interesting when he was the scum of the earth? And he was crazy, and he was unpredictable, and he was a nightmare. Now, he's just another good guy, and we have so many bland good guys on this show.
But I don't think Junior is bland, but he could turn on us at any moment.
I feel like
Kind of like his dad.
I feel like what was most interesting about Junior was the fact that he did bad things, but he did them because he thought they were good. And that to me was the most interesting thing. And he, like, I guess he's learned from it and still not doing that. But
And so
the most interesting thing was him locking like her up in the basement, thinking that it was good. And you turn out later and you're like, oh, he thought that was good. And maybe if he, I don't know.
So he was always a little bit off. Little bit, I don't know if I want to use the word crazy, but seems kind of crazy.
But a little off kilter, we'll call him that.
Because he has moments of clarity. And it seems like, well, no, maybe he's not crazy. Maybe he really thinks that's the right thing to do, like you were saying.
Yeah. In any case, they're trying to get everyone across this gap, but it keeps getting bigger because the dome likes to be tricksy.
And I was worried about Junior, though, because he was wearing a white T-shirt. And you know when people wear white on these kind of shows,
They
what
get
happens?
bloody.
Yeah.
Or they get wet.
So usually bloody. So I was like, oh God, no, Junior, don't get shot. So
Yeah, so
okay, I was on the edge of my seat with that shirt.
we're running out of time, so let's jump back to this ending. So we leave. I don't understand why you leave Junior and Julia, who I think are obviously the two, unless I guess Barbie touching the thing and having it respond to him means that he's the guy who's going to lead them. But why leave them over there? It's saying that we're not going to be jumping ahead. We're going to stay right there, and instead of a white background, it's going to be something else.
Well, I actually talked to my husband about this the other day. And he was asking me, what do you think is going to happen in the finale? And I was like, Julia and Barbie are going to get separated somehow, because how else would you have another season if I was thinking that some people would be out of the dome and some people would be still in, but they're all kind of still in the tunnel. Yeah. Except for Big Jim.
But I do think that I agree that separating Barbie and Julia is another way of creating conflict, because they're like, if we use a Once Upon a Time parallel, they're like Snow and Prince Charming, where it's like they're boring when they're together, so we have to separate them so that they can have a reconciliation.
Yeah, and also
epic moment like
Big
that.
Jim still alive. There's no way that if he didn't die this time, then he's going to stay alive, and he's just going to be moping around, and then he's going to be bad again. And it's just the same thing over and over and over again. Let's invent a new villain. I know Dean Norris is the best actor on the show, but I feel like we've run out of options here. Yeah. Okay.
Maybe there's a secret villain that we didn't know about all along. He's going to pop up as a new character.
A time-traveling villain.
Let's do that in predictions.
And now, your AfterBuzz TV predictions.
Where are we going?
I don't know.
Can we have this be predictions and spoilers?
Yes.
So this is a spoiler from the book. So turn everything off now.
Amanda's not cool with this.
Spoiler alert!
Yeah.
Spoiler alert!
The thing about the book though is that the book is supposed to be the ending. Dean Norris,
Big Jim.
Neil Baer said that the book ending is going to be wildly different from what the show ending is, and in the book it's aliens. It's basically like kid aliens playing with these people in a dome.
What?
Yeah. And they do, like, the dome is lifted in the end, and some of the people are still alive. Most of the town is dead.
Jesus. Well, yeah,
In a giant fire.
it's not going to be that.
No.
I don't know. I don't know what. It's weird and
So aliens are like just messing with them the whole time.
but it's not aliens.
No.
It's got to be. It feels like religion has been the whole thing.
it feels like religion.
And it feels like a birth.
Yes.
something organic, something living.
Melanie is some kind of the baby of the dome or something.
Ew, she got impregnated by the dome egg when she touched it, when it came down from the sky.
And
Seriously,
she somehow
though.
got reborn, which is also like a religious.
Maybe she
tone.
birthed herself.
I don't think that can happen.
I'm
She
my own
is
grandpa.
the dome. Yeah, exactly.
And what actually laid this egg, by the way?
I don't know. Any other thoughts?
No.
I want there to be another season just so we can know what happens.
Okay.
And what was up with Barbie with being the only hand that could open that? Like,
I don't. Maybe
The
he's
hand
the
on the
male.
shed?
He's
That's
the
the only
male
thing I
leader.
thought of.
He's the male leader.
Well, I thought because it was the hand on the shed.
Okay.
yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
In his backyard.
Folks, thank you so much for joining us all season long. We're going to be back next summer with an all-new season, should the show come back. Stay tuned for that. Jacque Borowski, where can the people find you?
At 123 Jackie_B on Twitter. At 123 Jackie B, all one word, on Instagram.
Okay, and Miss Amanda.
You can find me on Twitter and Instagram at The Runway Queen.
Okay. And you can find me on Twitter at Matt Lieberman. That's MattLieberman. You can also find all my videos for SourceFed and SourceFed Nerd on YouTube. And you can find me and Jackie doing Sleepy Hollow and The Strain together. Only 2 weeks left on that. A bunch of other great stuff. Thank you all so much. See you next summer.
you.
Bye.
From executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.